Parliament members after the vote with the promise to get Brexit done, while he also conceded that he was in for a hard fight. The Conservative leader heads a minority government, which has hindered his ability to push through legislation in Parliament. He is now hoping to turn that into a majority. It will be a tough election, and we are going to do the best we can, he said. Britain's first December vote in nearly 100 years, and the third general election in 4 years, finds the main opposition Labour Party splintered by bitter infighting. Pro-EU supporters from big cities have been at loggerheads with Brexit-backing groups such as the trade unions, as well as the party leader Jeremy Corbyn. But the veteran socialist is an energetic campaigner who nearly managed to secure an upset victory in the last general election in 2017. Corbyn calls the vote a once-in-a-generation chance to transform our country and is promising the most ambitious and radical campaign for real change. Labour's Brexit promise is to seize power and then strike a more European-friendly agreement with Brussels that preserves many of the existing trade ties. It would then let voters choose between that deal and the option of simply staying in the EU. We're saying democracy. Let the people decide. The two other main players are adopting much firmer Brexit stances. The first is the rising Liberal Democrats are going to the vote on a simple promise of stopping the EU-UK divorce by any means. The party used a similar message to finish a surprising second in the European Parliament elections in May. A poll of polls compiled by Britain Elect put them in third place with 18% of the vote. The Conservatives led second place Labour by 35 votes to 25. A similar outcome could turn the Liberal Democrats into power brokers who decide the makeup and direction of the new government. But party leader Jo Swinson said her polling showed that the party was within a small swing of winning hundreds of seats. She said she can't be any clearer, neither Boris Johnson nor Corbyn is fit to be Prime Minister. Our country deserves a better choice, and I am standing as candidate to be Prime Minister. The Brexit Party of anti-European populist Nigel Farage stands on the opposite end of the political spectrum and holds fourth place on 11%. Farage was one of the Brexit campaigners' figureheads who won the May European poll within months of forming his new group. But his party's impact has been muted by Boris Johnson's own firm pro-Brexit message. Farage is now denouncing Johnson's agreement with Brussels as a sellout of Brexit interests. In other news, Boris Johnson hopes that London's high-rise blaze will become a catalyst for change. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he hopes the 2017 Grenfell Tower inferno will become a catalyst for change after an official report into the London high-rise blaze that killed 72 criticized the emergency responses to the disaster. An inquiry said highly combustible cladding fixed to the 24-story building was the principal reason the fire spread so quickly. Firefighter union hits out after London tragedy criticism. Britain's main firefighters union on Wednesday hit back after an official report into the London high-rise blaze that killed 72 criticized the emergency response to the disaster. An inquiry into the 2017 inferno at Grenfell Tower said highly combustible cladding fixed to the 24-story block was the principal reason the fire spread so quickly. But it also accused the London Fire Brigade of systematic failings. In its response, it particularly advised to residents to stay in their flats rather than try to escape. More lives could have been saved had residents been ordered to evacuate the building, said Martin Moore-Brick, who led the inquiry. He said the brigade failed to learn the lessons of a previous high-rise fire back in 2009. The Fire Brigade Union questioned why its members who risked their lives were coming under scrutiny first, accusing the government of failing to heed the warnings after warning from previous fires. The FBU General Secretary, Matt Reck, said that there was no way of knowing if evacuating could have saved more lives. The true culprits of the fire are those who wrapped the building in flammable cladding, who gutted the UK's fire safety regime, who ignored warnings from previous fires, and who did not hear the pleas of the community worried for their safety. The fire, back in June 14, 2017, was visible across Britain's capital and caused widespread shock and outrage. A public inquiry began in May 2018. Findings from its first phase contained that nearly 1,000-page report. One support group for survivors and families of those who died, the Grenfell Union, said the conclusion gives us some confidence that our journey towards truth has finally begun. But another, the Justice for Grenfell, suggested blame was being shifted to firefighters in order to get those who were most accountable, the government and private companies, off the hook. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, from the main opposition Labour Party, gave his backing to the firefighters and other emergency services. They showed incredible courage and bravery, working in the most challenging of conditions, in what was a catastrophic building failure. It wasn't their fault that the building designed for people to safely stay put in their homes was so fatally compromised. Opposition parties also claimed the government was trying to deflect attention away from years of funding cuts to the fire service and local authorities who run the social housing. The smaller Liberal Democrats called for an overhaul in building regulations, as well as the removal and replacement of similar unsafe cladding on residential buildings. There must be a complete and comprehensive re-evaluation, and we must also enforce strict sanctions on those who flout construction safety standards, Liberal Democrat leader Joe Swinson said. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he hoped the report would bring some measure of comfort to families of the victims. He is very aware that no report, no words, no apology will ever make good the loss suffered and trauma experienced, he said late on Thursday night. Yet I hope it strengthens their faith in the inquiry's desire to determine the facts of the fire.
We would like to greet our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, a Happy Birthday po! We love you po!
Congregation of Lusaka, Zambia, Ecclesiastical District of Southern Africa. We would like to greet our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo.
Happy Birthday po! We love you po!
In line po with the first anniversary of Mwanza, Tanzania Group Worship Service, we all send our greeting po to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo.
Happy birthday po! We love you po!
From the District of Southern Africa, Malawi Blantyre Group Worship Service, together with the brethren and the Bible students, we want to greet Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Happy birthday po! We love you po!
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
And in sporting news, we have the results from the 2019 Rugby World Cup final between England and South Africa. South Africa defeat England to win third World Cup. South Africa stunned pre-match favourites England 32-12 with a brutally effective forward display to win their third World Cup in Yokohama, Japan on Saturday. The Springboks' victory was built on a colossal performance by their powerhouse pack that forced 6 penalties and a 66th minute try. The first the Springboks had scored in a World Cup final, setting off celebrations for the South African public. Victory ensured the Springboks made it 3 wins from 3 World Cup final appearances, after missing the first 2 editions because of the apartheid, and maintained their record of being crowned champions at 12-year intervals, following their 1995 and 2007 triumphs. Saturday's win also saw South Africa become the first team to win a World Cup, having lost in the first round pool stage, after their opening defeat by reigning champions New Zealand. It was a tactical triumph for South Africa, and there was heavy symbolism when Siya Kolisi, South Africa's first black captain, lifted the Webb Ellis Cup in a moment to rival 1995, when then-President Nelson Mandela was on hand to congratulate Francois Pienaar's victorious team. For England, 4 years on from the humiliation of their first-round exit on home soil in 2015, it was a match too far after their quarter-final and semi-final wins over Australia and New Zealand. A third defeat in 4 finals for England was also their second by South Africa, who defeated them 15-6 in the 2007 showpiece, when their coach Eddie Jones was a consultant to the Springboks. And it meant there was no repeat of England's 2003 World Cup final triumph, when they beat an Australian side coached by their current head coach Eddie Jones. So, the wait goes on for England, who will have to wait another 4 years to try and win another Rugby World Cup. In lifestyle news, correspondent Lavelle Lewana reports on children model in Milan.
Milan is one of the world's most important fashion capitals, along with Paris, New York, and London. Most of the major Italian fashion houses and labels are based in Milan. And as Filipino, we are proud to see our countrymen to be part of the well-known campaigns for all major stores and brands across all forms of advertising, both nationally and internationally. Some of them are Filipino kids.
Ciao! Mi chiamo Jacob Dio Katakutan. Ho 5 anni. Ciao!
Jacob was discovered by a casting agency when he was still 6 months old, but he started modeling for a big international Italian brand at the age of 2. I believe he was the youngest Pinoy male kid model at that time. Since then, he became visible in different catalogs and fashion show from different Italian brands. That's why we're so grateful and humbled that our son Jacob sustained his modeling career for 4 years now.
Ciao, mi chiamo Sigmund, sto studiando, faccio la modella da 4 anni.
Po si Hannah, nag-start siya Bale, dinala ko siya sa Mother's Day. Tapos nung time na yon, merong isang agency na nagpapakasting. So doon nag-start, ipinasok ko siya. Tapos after 1 month, tumawag sila para pumirma po ng kontrata. After nung mga ilang buwan, nagkaroon na siya ng casting hanggang dumami na yung kanyang project.
According to Jennifer Gray, the most successful child models are kids who are well-behaved, can follow direction, have parents or guardians who understand the nature of the industry, and are passionate about what they do.
Before getting your child into modeling industry, make sure that this is what he or she really likes about. From Milan, Italy, I'm Beverly Wanek and I'm 1-25.
Kids enjoy cooking at the Junior Chef, hosted by the INC in Barcelona, reported by Marco Alipio.
The members of the Church of Christ here in Barcelona, Spain held its very first Junior Chef. Come and join me as we witness how these kids show their cooking skills while enjoying and having fun.
Who says kids can't cook? These kids amazed the judges in the very first Junior Chef cooking competition in Barcelona, Spain. This contest showcased the skills of the kids in cooking as they were expected to prepare first dishes, second dish, and dessert of their choice. This event was been sponsored by the Children Worship Service officers of the Church of Christ with the aims of developing the cooking skills of these kids and promoting unity and friendship. The contest was very exciting. Trophies, medals, and special prizes were given to the winners and participants. It was been a very enjoyable experience not only to the contestants but also to their parents and attendees.
Masaya po kami sa aktibidad na po, nanalo po kami at maraming salamat po sa aming mga magulang po na nagtulong po sa amin.
That truly made us hungry. Until next time, I'm Marco Alipio, and I'm 1-25.
And correspondent Vanessa de la Cruz takes us to some of the best sights to see in Bosnia, in southeastern Europe.
Top 3 things to do. Number 1. Visit Mostar Bridge. It's the old bridge, starring Most. It was a great achievement of its time. This stood for over 400 years till it was destroyed in 1993. In the 1990s conflict, the majority of the old town was destroyed. It was rebuilt in 2004 and is now a UNESCO heritage site. 2. Visit Kravica Waterfall. This picturesque waterfall, which is around 25 meters high, is nestled along the Trebizat River. The lake is popular for tourists and locals alike to swim and boat around, especially in summer. The greenery around the waterfall makes the colours of the water all the more vibrant. Try cevapi. It's one of Bosnia's traditional dishes, using minced beef, similar to a kebab. Its found its origins from the Ottoman Empire, and it is usually served on flat bread. As you can see, Bosnia's beauty is captivating. These are just 3 things out of many that you can do and see in Bosnia. I'm Vanessa de la Cruz, reporting from Bosnia, and I am 1-25.
These have been our top stories this week. Please continue to read and watch the news on www.eaglenews.ph, eaglenewslive.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Eagle News International, and on Twitter, EBC United Kingdom at Eagle News UK. From our London studio, I'm Giancarlo Matera from EBC United Kingdom, and I am one with 25.